Alright, welcome back. Today I want to talk about a process that we don't use a whole lot, but we've been doing a lot of this recording at Live Room, and if these videos aren't an indication already, I'm pretty picky about my guitar tone. So let's talk about reamping and how I use it. So here's a diagram of how the setup works. We record live in the room. I record the amps, but then I record a direct signal of the guitar and the bass before it even hits the pedals. And then it goes to this reamp box from Radial, and I can feed it back out to this wall of amps here and pick a certain sound that I want, and just really dial in the tone without the band being in the room. Just take my time, pick my mics, pick my effects, like tweak every little bit, even do little sections of the song until everything is exactly the way we want to sound. So let's move forward. Let's look at this wall of amps. So here's all the stuff we got. So first is Moore's live rig. It's an SVT3 Pro into a Genz Benz Neo 212 cab, but the neodymium speakers are blown and swapped out for something else, so I don't know what they are. This is my Bandit 112. That's one of my two live amps that I use pretty much all the time. It's nice and loud, 100 watt solid state amp. It's usually my right channel. And then my left channel live is always this. It's a Series 2 Peavey Valveking 112, and I swapped in an Eminence Swamp Thing speaker in that, so it's a little bit, there's a little more bottom end to it. This is a Peavey 210 PA speaker from the late 70s. Don't know what's in it, but it's nice and dark sounding. And I have the head to it that you'll see later. And then up top here we have Moore's old GK Neobass cab. It's a 115. It's nice and clean, digital preamp. It's like a Class D. Comes in handy for clean bass tones. Then there's a classic chorus, a Peavey classic chorus from the late 80s, which I learned to play guitar on. I've had that since I was, 8 or 9 years old, so it's been handed down to me. You can see the rip speaker there too. And then I have a Bagheera 212 cab, which you might know as a Behringer company, but it actually sounds really good. It's nice and dark, and which is kind of my thing. It's got a lot of bottom end to it. This is my baby. This is a Peavey Festival, which I have. It survived a car fire. It is tattooed up my arm. It is loud as all hell. And most of my stuff when I do reamp stuff is this amp. And usually when we record in the room too. And this is a PA400, also from the 70s. And this matched the cabinet from before. Reverb is awesome on it. Like really, really solid. And then lastly, we have the TNT130, late 80s Peavey solid state bass amp, but you can actually boost the high end on it, and it's a very decent, like, baritone sludgy guitar amp. It's the loudest thing I own, and it's weighs about 150 pounds. Onto mics, this is another Peavey thing. It's a Peavey M520. Kind of sounds like an RE20 mic if you're familiar with those, but much cheaper. This is Moore's live vocal mic, but sounds really good on guitars too. It's an M80. Then this is my live vocal mic. It's a Beta 57. Also sounds really good in cabs. You'll see I'll use it in a little bit. And this is Joe's live mic, which is Sennheiser 935. So between those three dynamic mics, that's usually like the core of the sound. Sometimes I'll do this. This is a Sterling ST31, I think. This is a condenser. It's a little bit brighter. That's what I'm recording my voice on right now too. But it sounds good in guitar cabs. This is a Audio-Technica ATM 450. It's a side address condenser. Really, really bright, but very, very transparent. So sometimes if I want more detail, I'll go for that or do a room mic. And then lastly, we have the standbys of a Beta 52 and a Beta 56. Just solid kick drum, bass amp, whatever you need. So yeah. Here's the pedalboard again. You've seen it in the other videos, but this is what I'm running through. Fender FVR, Reverb, Flashback, Eventide H9, Line 6 HX, and the Source Audio Kingmaker Fuzz. Here we have the couple of extra distortion pedals I'll swap in. DS1, Boneshaker, really underrated, like bottom end kind of distortion. That's a Russian muff that I repainted for Mora and pulled the cap out so it has more bottom end. We call it the Gray Baby after her cat. And then the Violetta, I don't know anything about that pedal, but it's AEfx. You can try and look it up, some boutique, but it's like a ram's head, you know. And then here's the reamp. So this is the magic box that's sending out of our audio interface back to the amps. It takes the signal and puts it out at line level, so then when I run it into my pedals or into an amp, it sounds just like I'm playing a guitar. And then lastly is the audio interface. It's a Behringer XR18. We also use this for in-ear monitors and when we play live. But yeah, just 18 channel recording interface, really clean Midas pre's in it. I definitely recommend them. It's held up on the road, and it's a nice like little lunchbox size. Finally, let's look at the end of the process. So this is a direct guitar and bass signal feeding into various amps through my pedals into the amps, with tweaking some settings along the way. Alright, so that's reamping. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, ask. I'll try to answer them. And yeah, thanks.